resource, you are indirectly saying that it is something which needs to be exploited. When something is a resource, it just means that it is there, it has something in it, you use it till you want it, then after it is exhausted with everything, just throw it. So in this context, if you are using the human resources, I don't know how to interpret it. So the government will say we have enough abundant mineral resources here, please come. Others will say we are IT superpower, we have enough trained human resources, please come. That is how we are looking at this country. Whereas look at the poet. It does not say all this. It says Mataram. India is not a place which is full of resources which has to be exploited, but like my mother, that is a relation which had and how it has transformed now. I was privileged to be born and brought up in Kurk. It's very beautiful. I hope you have been there. When I was young, I used to envy my friends, the Kurki friends, because at my home, I was forced to go to Bhagavad Gita classes in the morning, take Samskrita classes in the evening, in between my school work. And in the evening, I had to come, after the lamp was lighted, I had to do all these bhajans at home. I used to envy my Kurki friends. And I had the burden of, I was forced to remember so many stotras of so many gods. We have so many gods. And every one of them will have such a big stotras. As a boy, I used to think, these Kurki guys are so lucky. They don't have these many gods. Kurkis need to, if at all they need to remember something, they have to remember only one song. Kavirama Devi Dai Kapadingala, only one song. For them there is only one god, river Kaveri. They don't worship anything else. They follow the most simplistic lifestyle. Kurkis as such. Any new beginning, they have to just bring the holy water from river Kaveri and put it everywhere, done. Their marriage lasts only for 5 minutes. Very interesting marriage. Our marriages last for days together. At the end, everybody will be exhausted. I don't know what they will do later. There will be so much. So, unlike us, the Kurki marriages are very simple. It will be over in 5 minutes. Very simple marriages. Since they are a warrior clan, they need to win over the girl. So, to replicate the same effect, what they are doing now is they will be installing the banana stems. So the girls, the boys, relatives, someone will come, take the knife, cut them to symbolize that they are winning the girl. And then the girl and boy will sit together. They will take a cup of milk. Both will give milk to each other. Marriage done. So simple. In fact, I think Kurki tradition is the only tradition where boy and girl need not be in the same place to get married. I don't know any other culture where such a practice is followed. The guy can get married in his home, the girl can get married in her home. And after marriage is over, they will stay together. Very simple. They have that practice. So, and then they will drink and dance and make merry. That's all. Very simplistic lifestyle. If you see across the globe, all primitive lifestyles are like this, very simple, close to nature, no tension kind of thing. I have heard that there is a tribe in Northeast. Last year during the vacation, I was in a month-long holiday session in Northeast. In Arunachal Pradesh, I heard a story about a tribe, which I had befriended a friend, a shopkeeper there. He told me the story of a tribe in Arunachal Pradesh, where it was very simple to divorce. It seems the practice is very simple. If the girl does not like the girl after the guy after the marriage, it's very simple. When the guy goes out, what she does is she keeps all his belongings outside the house. The guy will come in the evening, see that okay, his things are lying outside and the girl is not liking it. He will simply take it and go. No tensions at all. No Devda style of drinking and singing sad songs, nothing like that. And if he finds some other interesting girl, he will just place his things before his house, her house. If she likes it, she will take it inside. Marriage life here. So all primitive lifestyles are like this. It's only we who have made things so very complex.
So did you visit Shillong and Meghalaya and the tribes of Meghalaya?
Yeah, I was in Meghalaya. Anyway, the point which I was trying to make was very simple. Like for a long time, humans did have a very close contact with nature. Then why did organized religions across the world, Hinduism or the Abrahamic religions, Islam, Christianity, everything, why did they stop this practice of moving close to nature? And in some religions, worshipping nature is prohibited. Why did this happen? I have an explanation, I don't know whether it is correct or not. At some point of time, for me, Krishna looks like a real revolutionary. You may recall a particular incident from Mahabharata. The people of his place were worshipping Indra. And Krishna said, don't worship Indra, all you guys. You worship this hillock, just called Govardhanagiri. You worship that. Because this is what feeds your cattle, which is the basis of their livelihood. So stop worshipping Indra. See, Indra is a symbol. Indra is a symbol for pleasures. If you worship Indra, what will you get? You will get pleasures. Ramba, Urushi, Menaka and all are symbols of sensual gratification. So if you worship Indra, you will get only that. Why you are worshipping that? You please worship Govardhanagiri, he said. And you know what happened later? Indra was so very furious and then he brought rains and then Krishna lifted the Govardhanagiri. But I think there Krishna was telling us the most important point. He was telling us that, see, what is helpful to you, you worship it. That is what he was trying to say. In fact, even in the holiest site of Islam, the Mecca, they say that there were around 200 temples of medieval times, pre-Islamic temples, gods and goddesses of nomad tribes which were earlier living in Mecca. And after Islam came to prominence, or they were erased. I think they focused on the imageless but powerful God for a particular reason. They had a particular reason. We will not go into that now, right now. I don't think that is required. My point was, at a particular point of time, we were very close to nature, but suddenly what happened was, not suddenly, slowly, what happened was, we lost touch with nature. Why did that happen? I was analyzing yesterday. And my theory was that because now humans had tools and, no, I would not say technology, technology came much later. They had tools and techniques to play with nature, starting with agriculture. They started seeing nature as the giver of everything. They will demand and nature should give it. Not nature will give and they will take, not that. This, if you have to understand it very clearly, you have to carefully analyze certain section of Hollywood movies. There is a certain section of Hollywood movies wherein nature is depicted as the number one enemy of humans. Nature is the enemy. What you have to do is conquer nature. Everywhere around there are enemies. Go deep into the sea, there is enemy. Refer Jaws. There is enemy. Up above the world so high, there are so many aliens. All aliens are there who are waiting to conquer the world and destroy us. Inside the hill there is volcano which is our enemy. Wind is our enemy. Everything is enemy. What we have to do is we have to conquer them. Rivers are our enemies. Floods are our enemies. Floods will wash out all cities and villages. Who asked you to build villages near such rivers? You build all your villages. And then when there is more flood, you start crying. Anyway, analyze this. Nature is suddenly seen as a force which needs to be conquered. Not only the world, outside space also needs to be conquered. What does this, how does these kinds of films come? Because of a particular mindset. Mindset of seeing nature as oppressive. And how do humans conquer nature? Technology. Humans are limited by we are limited by our senses. We can't do anything. What gives us extra power? Technology. Technology enables humans to have this vision of conquering nature. That is why there is a very famous saying. Please analyze this statement. Technology is the branch of moral philosophy, not science. Technology is not the branch of science. It is a branch of moral philosophy. Which technologies should come and which should not is not controlled by scientists. They are controlled by theologists. Religion controls technology, not anything else. You see, throughout the history, every technology has come up because there was a religious reasoning behind it. The technology which religion did not accept, it did not come. So if your religion tells you that nature is something which has to be worshipped, you will have only such technologies. See the earliest farming technologies used in India. Did they harm nature? No. We were supposed to worship nature. If you see the entire celebration in India, it surrounds the nature worship. See all the festivals we do. Every festival we do in India, it is somehow connected to nature or the harvest season. Are there any festival which is not connected to nature? There is no. See the Western festivals. They are not connected to nature. They are not. So there is this difference in our approach. That is why here, for anything and everything, not only here, everywhere, I would refer to the film Dreams by Ajay. In the film Dreams, it's if you have not seen, probably we can arrange a screen for you. There are many stories told. First story is very interesting. We can go on analyzing it for days today. First story in that Dreams was very interesting movie. There is everybody has seen. For those who have not seen, I am telling the story. The first story, what happened is there was this boy who is told by a lady, I have been fighting in all my appreciation workshops and with my friends that lady is not that boy's mother. That is my consistent argument. There is a lady who tells a boy that, see, don't go to the forest. No, it is in times when there is simultaneously rainfall and sunshine. The belief is that what gets married?
Fox marries the.
Gets married. You should not see it. What she says. The boy goes to the forest and beautifully choreographed sequence. He sees the foxes marching towards probably to their marriage. And he comes back terribly worried. And fox also terribly worried. And the mother, so-called mother, so my point that lady says that since you have seen the marriage, somebody had come asking for you, so I can't take you inside. was mother, she would have protected you. No mother will say, go and die. No mother will say. No mother in any part of the world will say that. That's an insult to the institution of motherhood. So that is why I feel she was not the mother. She would not say that. She said, no, I can't accept you inside close. Please go. So he goes. And the climax is always quoted as the most beautiful shot ever executed in the history of romance, world cinema. It's something very interesting for me. This story I have heard even in Coorg. In Coorg, we call it Narimangala. Same thing. Narimangala. We should not see it. All of you, I think, are very familiar because of watching so many films on Nagins. When snakes come together, we should not see it. Everybody knows that. If you see what happens, you know, they will come and dance and shoot to death and all, you know. Why did people make such rules? People make such rules because they respected nature. I think the lesson here is that you should respect nature. Even while plucking flowers, there is a rule. You simply can't pluck all the flowers. Minimum 4 buds have to be retained. That's what the rule says. Even when you are plucking tulsi, the most sacred of everything, there is a rule. How much you should pluck, when should you pluck. There is a rule for everything here. So nature always was respected. That is what I was trying to say. And if your religion insists on this, the technologies coming out of your culture will also be like this. If you are not respecting nature, you will come out with technologies which will abuse nature. Many people ask me, I have a book, I can share it with you, Encyclopedia of Indian Sciences. It was edited by Roddam Narasimha. In fact, my dear friend Harishchandra, after hearing to me for a long, decided finally that he will offer a course. I think last semester he had offered that course as an open lecture, and I provided all the material to him. I don't know whether that course was a lab not meeting for a long time. People ask me the question on why, if at all India was very progressive and other things, why do we build big dams in India? Why there are no mega structures built in India? The reason is very simple. We respected nature to such a length that we did not create mega structures for the sake of creating it. Rivers were so holy to us that diverting the course of the rivers were unthinkable to our ancestors. That is why we did not have large bridges and dams built. Compare this with today's thinking. There is this series which is often repeated in the Fox History Channel. I saw it first time when it came. Reruns keep coming once in a year. Great engineering marvels. See that series and see the mindset of the people who make such things. Every bridge builder will be shown as a big hero who has done such a good thing to the mankind. Those cultures encourage such things. We don't. That is the difference. I will give you some examples to prove my theory that technology is always under the control of religion. I had written a play, Janardhan Vasu, not many people know me. I had written it for our director who I think will never bring it to the stage. I should do something about that. The play was regarding an incident in the life of Pythagoras. It is said, and it's believed by a lot of people, that irrational numbers were not made public for a long time by Pythagoras because he believed that it would be accepted by people as a break in God's rule. You know Pythagoras theorem, right? Pythagoras theorem was touted to be, it was not a scientific invention. It was an invention which came from a religious belief system. They thought that there was some magic in that Pythagorean triplets. Pythagorean triplets were supposed to denote some greater truth of God. And the square root of two kind of numbers which do not subscribe to this mean theory were thought to be out, were thought to be evil, to be very precise. Therefore, Pythagoras did not teach it to his students. One of his students, through his own study, asked Pythagoras that I have this doubt, if this and this are same, then you will get square root of something, what is that? It is said that Pythagoras killed him. Because he didn't want people to know that. He thought, we should not blame him. That was the mindset of that day. Why do you think clock was invented? Clock. You know the story of clock? Very interesting story. Clock was not invented because people wanted to keep time like this. No. It was invented by church. It was invented by church because the religious activity had to go on in a precise manner. And for a long time, clocks were available only in churches. They were the keepers of time. It was not supposed to be given to everyone. They were giving the time. And when there was a particular time for an event, they would ring the bell in the church so that everybody know. Even today that practice is followed. They would ring the bell, telling everyone this is the time now. They were the keepers of time. Even fire was, the making of fire was a sacred thing. See any religion, see Jewish tradition, they respect fire, they worship fire. See in India also, there is a sect of people called as Agnihotras. Their main job is to make that fire. Fire was not available just like that. Making fire was a technical job. It required special expertise. And not everyone was supposed to make fire like that. For a long time in India, if you can talk to your grandparents, they will tell you that in small villages, it was only in the village next house you could get fire. If you wanted fire, you had to go to his house, get the fire from him. But matchbox changed everything. That small thing which you see, they say it corrupted a culture. I don't know whether I can tell this story or not, but I can tell this story. How matchbox changed the culture. In somewhere in Africa, in one tribe there was a tradition. A tradition. I suppose, I am assuming that all of you are very mature and telling this story. I suppose that tribe, they had a problem like this. They had a problem of adultery. There's too much adultery going on in that tribe. Therefore, some elder person in that tribe decided that whenever the man and the women come together, after that activity, the fire in that house should be exhausted and a new fire should be brought in. That means they had a mechanism to see that everything goes on in a proper order. This reduced adultery in the community. Because now you had to make everything complete. Now you had to, if you are asking for fire, that means something has happened, so everybody will start posting. They say that matchbox changed everything. Now there was matchbox, suddenly people forgot everything. So this is what happens, right? Everything. So even a matchbox can destroy a culture. See how it happens. And then you know the great story of astronomy. Copernicus, Kepler, Galileo. What happened? Did the technology suddenly come like that? No, it didn't come. The church had to sanction, they had to agree, all that happened. And then people got some new technology. Even in India, If you see any technology, all the things are there for a religious purpose. Geometry, arithmetic in India developed for religious purpose. Even time. We had our own sundials. We had our own water clocks. Why were they invented? They were invented because they had to find the right time to start the yajna. That is why they were invented. Numbers were invented, geometry was invented because they had to make all those things to make sacred offering. What I am trying to say is, for a long time, and I think partially even today, it is religion which controls the flow of technology and nothing else. So if you want to study technology, no way you can escape from learning the religion, culture and other things. Then why don't people study today, you may ask? I don't know, not. If I start talking about it, then I should raise my voice and do all that sort of things. I don't know. But anyway. So all this thing, what I was saying, was just an introduction to introduce one important invention which I think changed everything. All this thing. Printing press. It was printing press which for the first time brought down the influence of religion over human beings. Please note, I am not using the term church. I am not using it. I am generally speaking religion. It was printing press. Why? See, you should understand what printing press actually did. What printing press did? Printing press. See, until then, there were two classes of people. One class of people who knew to read. Other larger group of people who did not know to read. Why didn't they know to read? Is because they did not feel a need to learn reading. There was no use. The people who knew to read would interpret the words of the God to them. So the entire knowledge corpus was strongly held by the men. Women mostly were not in that field. By men who knew how to read. If you know to read, you become powerful. See, this is a progress. Yesterday we were talking about a time when Adam and Eve, I started my story from Adam and Eve and said that event gave man the first set of identity. I own myself. Adam and Eve story, the first thing that you should notice, what it gave to man was his identity. I own myself. You are there, I am here. And possibly then, the first thing which man started owning was other men. The slavery started there. And the question of who should own who was decided maybe in a much more violent fashion. People who were strong would dominate those who are weak and make them their slaves. Who should own whom started there. Agriculture, during the time of agriculture, who should own land came. There the ownership was about humans. Here the ownership question was about land. This question is asked in our epics also. Yesterday I just mentioned. In the Ramayana, the central question was, who should own Sita? Very interesting question. Culture had developed in such a way to decide who should own whom. So here the question was, who should own Sita? That was the question. He is Rama married Sita. Does it mean that Rama owns Sita? Doesn't Sita have the free will to go with whom she wants? These are complicated questions. At the end of Ramayana, there comes a scene. This is very important for me because he uses a term which you please know that I will take it in mind. He came to Rama's side. He disowns his brother. Vibhishana says he was an evil man, Ravana. I will not do his last rites. Then Rama says, no, it is not the point. He is dead, and after man is dead, he should get a honorable rite. So his last rites are performed in the supervision of Rama. He does that. Next thing, the whole state of Lanka is headless now. Then he makes Vibhishana the head of Lanka. Then he asks Vibhishana to get Sita. See the way he behaves. He asks Vibhishana to get Sita. Sita comes. And then Rama makes a statement. Many people have misunderstood the story. You have to, I think it's high time that all of you learn all these stories. Because in 2-3 years you have to tell all these stories to your kids, no? So, you know all these stories. Unlike the popular belief, Rama did not ask Sita to get into fire at all. Nothing of that sort happened. You should study Valmiki's Ramayana very clearly. That is why there is one more problem. See, his name was not Valmiki. His name was not Valmiki. That is one more mistake people make. His name is actually Rachetasa. Rachetasa. One of the Brahma's son was Prachetas. His son was Rachetasa. He wrote Ramayana, not Valmiki. Valmiki is the title we have. Title. For a different reason. So in the original Ramayana, if you see, what happens was, when Sita comes, what Rama says, okay, now Sita, see here, I didn't fight the war for you. Rama says, I didn't fight the war for you. Why did I fight the war? For a different reason, he used the reason, which is not important. Someday we are in a special lecture series on Ramayana, I will say all these stories. But Ramayana stories can't be told like this. Ramayana story you have to keep one chair here, Akshate Hakiru. It is often said that whenever we speak about Ramayana, Hanumanta comes in as a spectator. So we should always keep a seat ready for him. There is a tradition to say all this. Similarly, while telling the story of Mahabharata, they say Ashwatthama will come. So you should keep a seat for him. Anyway. So Sita comes and Rama is saying now that, see, I have won the war. Now, Sita, you are free. You are free. You have freedom. Important word for me. Later I will realize. You have freedom. Sita, now you decide. Where should you go? Rama says, you want to go with Vibhishana? Go. See here, there is Sugriva, great king. You want to go with him? Go. Go wherever you want. It is what Rama says. Then Sita says, why are you saying all this? You are my husband. And I am supposed to come with you. That's what Dharma says. Rama says, point is, I have a slight doubt about your character. People may talk. You were in the kingdom of Ravana for such a long time, and people may doubt your character. That's what Rama says. He does not say anything. Immediately Sita says, Lakshmana, please prepare fire. I will get into it. She says, Rama didn't. She says, there is a small explanation I will give. Shall I continue? Why did Sita ask Lakshmana? Many people ask. Why didn't she say to Hanumanta, for example? Hanumanta was a great guy. He could tell Hanumanta to do this. Why specifically to Lakshmana? There is significance. To understand this, you have to go a bit backwards. Small flashbacks to see these Indian writers, they write stories so wonderfully. They will all be logically connected. You have to study it correctly. Lakshmana, you have to understand, was a guy of a very good character. But he had a problem. His problem was, he believed that he can do anything. See, Ramayana story I was telling yesterday. The one lesson which Ramayana teaches us is that we cannot do everything. There is something beyond us which will control everything. This is the moral of Ramayana. Lakshmana had a small problem that he believed that he could do anything. I will take you one more flashback now. Sorry, we are going flashback and flashback.
Double flash.
This story pertains to the Pattabhishekam of Rama, the original thing, in the beginning. Then you know what happened. Kaikeyi says something and all that happens. See, this is one more small addition. When Kaikeyi said, you have to go to forest, Rama had all the reasons to oppose. He was the adversary. Dharma says that. And all that is there. He didn't say anything. When Kaikeyi said, go to forest, he said, okay, I'll go. No arguments at all. You want me to buy? That's all. After he came back, Lakshmana started arguing. He said, why did you accept the Kaikeyi's word to go to forest? Everyone is with you. I am with you. Do you want me to kill Kaikeyi? Do you want me to put Dasharatha in the prison? You tell me, I will do that. Lakshmana says. Compare this with what Aurangzeb did later. You don't want to compare this. But Rama says, that's not the point. I have said I will go and that's all. Rama's stand was that once he says something, he will do it. That's all. No two words about it. He said he will go, he will. Then Rama says, it should have happened like that, it has happened. Then Lakshmana says one thing. He says, he ridicules Rama. Lakshmana at that point ridicules Rama. He says, what are you talking about? Are you saying that I can't kill all of them and make you king? Don't take the name of God. Lakshmana is saying to Rama, who is an incarnation, we believe, that don't. Who are you now to say that believe in God? Only those people who don't have power, who are gods, they take the name of God, not brave people. Lakshmana is saying to Rama, what I am saying is he is trying to show that he can do anything. Aadmel Bandhi, where Sita Maharana time, we are there. There, Maricha comes, golden years, Sita says, I want that. Rama says, why do you want all this? No, she says, no, what? Rama goes, bring it. And then Maricha cries, and then Sita got worried and said, Lakshmana, you please go to find out. Then Lakshmana said, why are you worrying? I know Rama from a long time. He is not the one who will cry like this while chasing a deer, even though it's a golden deer. I will not go, he will come, don't worry. Then Sita says, she says, go, he does not listen. Then Sita says, I think you want Rama to die there so that you can marry him. That's what she says. That's why you are going, not going now. And Lakshmana was hurt then. Very much hurt because there is this popular legend, not only legend, Lakshmana himself says at a later stage that he has never seen the face of Sita. He always saw her feet. It's a respect he gave to Sita. He says, when they were searching for Sita, they go, and when Jatayu explains that Sita was like this, Rama asks Lakshmana, is this what the description he is giving about Sita? And Lakshmana says, I don't know because I have never seen the face of Sita. I used to always see her feet. That's what Lakshmana says. And Sita has doubted the integrity of such a great head. Therefore, now Sita is asking Lakshmana, who prepared the fire? Now Lakshmana by that time had realized, why? Because one more episode, that Indrajit's fight, I believe he had realized, logs we have not telling. He had realized everything and now he has become very pure and all. Therefore, Sita is now asking Lakshmana and not anyone else. Logic, story logic. So he asks, and then Sita goes inside. And that's the one more big story. Someday I will say. My point, why I am saying all this is because I lost the track. Why this story came in the first place? Huh? Why are we freedom now? Freedom was something not somewhere. Anyway, we have spoken about Ramayana, nothing bad about it. Why are we discussing this? Printing press. Yeah, printing press I have to start today because session is almost closed. But the printing press has not started. Anyway, I'll give the introduction to printing press and take it up in my next class. I'm saying this from class. Printing press. Oh, I was saying ownership. Ownership. Okay, well, ownership. Who owned whom? Was a question which was stated in Ramayana. That was what I was trying to say. Even in Mahabharata, this question is asked in the context of Draupadi. It is asked in Mahabharata. Again, I should say Mahabharata. Question of who should own whom one time. Then came land. See, people who are powerful at one stage will want to extend their power in the next era. So people who are powerful had slaves at a particular point of time. In the next stage, when agriculture came, they started owning large lands and made these slaves work as agricultural laborers. Whereas they who owned land continued to enjoy all the privileges. They knew how to read. They would interpret the knowledge. These masses would never even get a chance to actually read and understand for themselves what God had told. They would always hear the interpretations. All this was severely challenged thanks to printing press. Printing press, for the first time in the history of mankind, gave the power of information to people. We should not think printing press only from this angle. I want you to recall the story of Tammuz and Tiamat I told yesterday. That also happened. Before that, information came with instruction. Who had to study what? How much one should study was controlled. Flash at the head, and I will close this. In India, there is a popular belief because control, this thing came to my mind suddenly. Many people have this misconception that in India, for a long time, people in the powerful position decided what the ordinary people should learn. Western interpretation of this idea in Indian context is people in India for a long time suppressed so-called lower caste people and didn't give them access of education. And also to women. This argument most of the people think. I want to give a small clarification and then we'll end the session. It didn't happen in India. This is a misconception. See, throughout, there were people from the lower caste who held important positions throughout our history. Valmiki, even if you believe he came from the lower caste, which I don't think was true, but if you believe the popular belief, he wrote Ramayana. No. Vedavyasa, whose original name again, Vedavyasa is a title he got, because he divided the Vedas. Did you study data mining? Did you study classification? Vedavyasa started. He classified the Vedas. Which algorithm did he use for classification? It is explained. Somebody should study it. He is the father of data mining. If I was teaching data mining, I would start from his original name was Krishna Dvaipaya. That is his name, Krishna Dvaipaya. He is the son of fisherwoman. Matsya Gandhi. His mother's name is Matsya Gandhi. He is the son of fisherwoman. He divided all the Vedas. Forget Vishwamitra, the greatest of all Brahmarshis, who gave one of the most important mantras, which is the basis of this country, the Gayatri, was given by Vishwamitra. He was a Kshatriya. So, no way you can argue that in India certain people of certain birth were not given education. Girls, women, hundreds of examples. Even in the the case of Vishwamitra, I can quote an example. Small story. Vishwamitra is now has done tapas and he has gained the knowledge, and he has to be given the title of Brahmarshi. So the executive council of Brahmarshi Council was held. Executive council meet. All the Brahmarshis have come together and they have decided whether they should give the title of Brahmarshi to Vishwamitra. The president asks to everyone in the gathering, shall we give Brahmarshi title to Vishwamitra? Everybody says yes, we can give it. It's a great title. One person, a lady, what is Gargi? This story comes in Rigveda. She stands up and says, no, I have an objection. Just because he has done something, you cannot give him this title. Did any one of us examine him? No. Then how can we give him the title? So, somebody should examine him. If he clears that, we will give him the title of Brahmarshi. PhD examination today, I derived from the same person. Then the president says, who should examine? Gargi. Since you have raised the objection, no one will examine. So, Brahmarshi Council, which is the highest body, has a lady president, that Gargi. When she comes, she says something and all, I am not following. So my point is, there are many stories happening, but this I think is sufficient. So I think at no point of time, nobody should argue that in India we practice such kind of biases. But in Western world, this was practiced for a long time. That at some point of time, men were becoming slaves and they were owned. And with the agricultural economy, land was being owned, and people who owned land became powerful.